the waters of baptism, Frank died with Christ and rose with him to new life. May he now share with him in eternal glory. Funeral Mass for Frank Crichlow. As you can tell from the tone of the opening song, we're going to mourn but also celebrate at the same time. We're going to remember Frank, thank God for him, but also pray for him. You're all most welcome, whatever your faith or none.
Daddy, I wish I could have you here with me forever, squeezing messages of love into my hand and telling me your stories and making me laugh. But just for today, I will trust that the wonderful time we've shared on this earth is enough to last me a lifetime. I will celebrate you in your life. I will try and practice the same generosity of spirit that I got to witness in your smile. Because if I shine even as half as much as you do, then I will be happy.
Frank gave this community spaces that were our own. Spaces where we were free. Spaces where we could be ourselves at a time in which it was not possible to be black and to be yourself. You remember those times. Frank helped us through those times. He helped us with the Rio way back at 127 Westbourne Park. And then he helped us with the Mangrove in All Saints Road. They were our spaces. Frank created those spaces. Places where we could be
Mind your backs. Blackberry stood with him. We had the French soldiers. He disappeared into the night, I think unfairly. I love Frank. He knows I love them. A lot of people competed for our relationship and lost. Frank was my friend. And Frank was a Caribbean man who did ordinary things like opening a restaurant in an extraordinary way. We could not ask for more.
That's right.
Let the wagons roll. Let's take the Viking to Valhalla.
About a week ago, I met a guy and he said to me, Frank's dead. I said, where did you hear that from? He said he'd been to his lawyers and his lawyers had told him. So then he came on the street and when I was speaking to him, he says, Jeb, I didn't even think a man like Frank could die. It might sound outrageous, but he was indestructible to us. He seemed indestructible to us. He seemed omnipotent to us. He made us feel that we could do anything. We took on the state and we beat them. We take the police and we beat them. We take Kensington and Chelsea and we beat them. And when other people were in trouble, in Birmingham, in Bristol, in Leeds, they came to Frank and we went to their assistance. Just finally, some people say to me, Mangrove is dead. That is rubbish. Let me tell you all, Mangrove wasn't just a building. Mangrove was a concept. It was a concept of people helping themselves and helping others. And we're still doing it. And Mangrove lives inside of you and me and every one of us here today. Okay, I done.
Wagons roll.
We first, the Black Star Line. There, nah, gone away. Fight for all immigrants' freedom in this country. We fight for all immigrants in this country. And I don't encounter them on a belly yet when we there. As youth, man.
Blues. This is a legend. If you don't know blues, you don't know West London at all.
Don't know blues, don't know Mangrove.
He taught me everything I know about community politics, and today I'm here to pay my respects to Frank Crichlow, probably one of the greatest black leaders that Britain has ever produced, well, Trinidad via Britain has ever produced.
From All Saints Road, Mangrove, to the London School of Economics and Political Science. My daughter got her degree in law last year. That was only possible because of Frank, because he made the space possible for us to do that, to achieve that.
Without him, Anna would have starved.
Babies make to him, children make for through him, party keep through him.
Hey, that is royalty.
Yeah, but
royalty. Give me color we eat.
Frank grew me from a teenager. I go into Mangrove, and Frank Crichlow He lent me £200 once, and I pay him back. And he said, Monster, don't ask me again for money for this kind of business. Leave me out. He wasn't into that kind of business I was into. But still, my children was christened in Frank Crichlow Mangrove. Not one, two was christened in Crichlow Mangrove.
Frank was a brother, a friend, a lover. Frank encapsulated an era for us in which we claimed our space in the United Kingdom. And we asserted our right to be ourselves. And in 1970, 40 years ago, when we stood outside the Mangrove in solidarity with the struggle that Frank had put up, we had an organization called the Black Panther Movement. And that organization had branches in Brixton and North London. And we came outside the Mangrove to assert that as African people, we have to claim our space in this world. And a lot of people talk today about Frank as being from Trinidad and being from the Caribbean, but Frank was an African man of the world. Frank went to demonstrations against apartheid. We organized demonstrations when the Americans invaded Anguilla and the British. We organized demonstrations when the struggle exploded in Trinidad. We organized demonstrations against apartheid. We joined the anti-apartheid movement in having a big rally in Trafalgar Square at which I spoke. Frank was part of an era of struggle, and I think that we mustn't miss. And what we are challenging the young people today is who and where are the people who are taking over from our generation? Who and where are the people who are taking over from Frank? Who and where are the people who are taking over from the Black Panther movement and what we started? Who and where are the people who are standing up and saying, I'm an African person, and I'm not ashamed of my personhood. I don't have to imitate anybody. I don't have to look like anybody. People should be trying to look like us because we are the original.
And you were locked up with Frank?
I was part of the Mangrove 9. We were on trial at the Old Bailey, and I defended myself.
A youth, right, in all the late 60s, and I trying to make my way in life. Frank was one of the man I buck up on, and them is the man and them where give you some idea of life and what you have to face in this country, in England, with all the racism that was going on, where a black man don't have no chance. And where they used to call a spade, and a black man is like the dregs of society, the wretched of the earth. And Frank was one of the men who used to fight against that. So for me, he'll always be my hero. Frank is one of the men I always look up to. Don't care what nobody say about him or whatever it is. He's a champion. He's helped more people than he's hurt. And to me, that's the good average for a man to have in life.
Brother was washed in baptism and anointed with the Holy Spirit. Give him fellowship with all your saints. Lord, in your mercy. Comfort us in sorrow at the death of Frank. Let our faith be our consolation and eternal life our hope. Lord, in your mercy.
Yes. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Frank Crichlow was a genuine radical. And the reason he was a radical is that he was passionate about injustice. If you try to wrong him, or and the black community at that time was under a lot of pressure, and he stood up. He stood up against the police's behavior and racist society at the time's behavior. But he himself didn't turn into a racist. What he did, he pulled the whole community, both black people and white people, to really rebel against the way that the system was designed at the time.
His passion was injustice. So if you really want to give him a big up, continue the struggle and fight for injustice.
He showed us that you could survive in Babylon without bowing. Yeah, man.
Rest in peace, Frank Crichlow.
In fact, not only did he show us you could survive in Babylon, but he showed us that you could thrive in Babylon without having to bow.
My respects to Frank for teaching us the way, you understand me, the right way, how to live with each other, how to deal with each other, because he was a person that looked after everybody. He went out on a limb for people. Yeah, without fail, Frank went out on a limb and showed people that this is what we're about. Yeah? But not just about being greedy and gravelicious, it's more about having a community and caring for our community and raising our community.
If without people like Frank, people like our generation would really have a road deal. But what I can say about Frank is that I am really glad today that I was well enough to attend this very important event. And all I ask is I wonder if he knew that we love him so much.